Hello everyone and welcome back to Neptune's Child Tarot. Thank you all so much for being here and for your continued love and support here on the channel. So today's pick a card reading, we're doing your spirit team's advice to you right now. Okay, your spirit team's advice to you right now. And we do have 3 different piles for you to choose from. I have pre-shuffled the oracle cards for you all, and once we get into your specific reading, then we will pull the tarot to see what your spirit team's advice is to you right now. If by chance you do feel drawn to more than one of the groups today, that is perfectly okay for today's topic. For group number 1, we do have Opalite. For group number 2, we have clear quartz. And then for group number 3, we do have amethyst. Okay. So group number 1, Opalite. Group number 2, we have clear quartz. And group number 3, we have amethyst. Your spirit team's advice to you right now. Group 1, group 2, group 3. Timestamps will be down below for you all, and I will see you at your reading. Hi, group 1. So those of you that resonated with the Opalite, this is going to be a reading today. So your spirit team's advice to you right now. We're going to see what is coming through. We will pull your tarot as well. So we have card number 36, Koi Fish Spirit, with There Is Always Enough. We have Shaolin Master, and it says, be graceful in movement and action. We have number 45, Self-Interest. Number 3, Trinity, with balancing decisions, priorities, and adapting to change. And then we have number 45 here with repairing the veil with forgiveness. Okay, so let's pull your tarot, group 1, and see your spirit team's advice to you right now. For one thing here already, what I'm getting is that there is a need for specifically focusing on the self and what your needs are at this time. Making yourself a priority. We also have 2 number 45s here. I'm getting a lot of focus on nurturing the self, okay? Nurturing the self to help to bring about balance or restoring balance. Group number 1, prioritizing self-care. We have the Page of Cups. I'm getting this group as having recently or in the past, and it feels like what's coming in now or what's coming up now is a lot of healing. And it could be that some of you are navigating through a lot of maybe difficult, challenging emotions, intensity. or having recently gone through, you know, a situation. Now, it could really be anything in your life, whether it's work environment, family members, friends, romantic relationship. It feels like that this group is processing a lot, or maybe currently dealing with a situation right now that is quite intense. And so Spirit is kind of bringing through a message here to just kind of take care of you, focus on yourself. I know sometimes that's hard, especially if there's a lot of things that are, you know, kind of happening around you that might feel a little bit chaotic. But there is a stress here with prioritizing self-care and bringing yourself back into a state of balance. For some of you, there's a focus on your emotional well-being, your mental health. Okay, especially for those of you where this is, you know, certain things that you've gone through in the past and now they could be resurfacing, or even things that you may have felt like, okay, this happened, I'm okay, I'm fine, but then there's still this energy that you could still be dealing with. Okay, we have the Seven of Cups here. What is your spirit team's advice to you right now, group number 1? We have the High Priestess here and the Death card. So we've got Scorpio and Pisces, Cancer, the Strength card, Leo, some of you, very specific message coming through here. Some of you might have a person, and really, again, this could be anybody, that there's something that you could be working on right now or trying to focus your attention towards. And there may be a person around you that is giving some kind of critique or judgment or opinions. That could be something that could be creating a lot of, it feels like self-doubt or even insecurities, okay, that could be making you doubt yourself and your choices and things of that nature. So it's going to be important for you to kind of set boundaries, or to understand that sometimes certain people could be projecting their own, you know, insecurities, fears, especially for those of you that are doing something or working towards something that requires a lot of inner strength, courage, bravery. And it could be that this person who's kind of projecting that onto you, whether it's judgments, criticisms, opinions that might be a little bit negative in nature, like telling you that you can't do it, you're going to fail, you're not this, you're not that. It almost kind of feels like this person that you could be dealing with might have their own insecurities, and that person could be someone who could never see themselves doing something like that. And so they could be projecting that onto you, which is making you doubt yourself. And it's important for you to use discernment with the advice or opinions of other people, and to stay true to what you feel and you know and what you're being guided to intuitively, to make sure that you stay focused. There's a lot of creative energy coming from you, group number 1. A lot of beautiful ideas of things that you wish to create. A lot of dreams, a lot of, you know, big ideas. And I feel like Spirit is kind of wanting you to, whatever it is that you're being intuitively drawn towards, make sure that you take note of these things, write them down, keep a little log or a journal of these insights that are kind of coming to you, moments of clarity that is coming through from your higher self, from your spirit team. You're being guided towards these things for a reason. A lot of you are doing a lot of future thinking, planning, imagining, fantasizing about how you're wanting things to kind of unfold. So again, there's a need for you to focus on yourself. This could even be some of you going through a lot of personal transformation at this time. Yep, a lot of future, okay, planning, projecting things in the future. It's going to be important for you to do that. We have the Hermit here at the bottom. Okay, we've got Virgo energy here. And the Hermit, you know, sometimes when we're in the Hermit energy, this is a time for retreat, a time for restoration, a time for healing, a time for self-reflection. It may also be when we are going through a dark night of the soul. We could be feeling a little bit lost right now, or even feeling a need for extra time alone. Spending time alone, which I feel like is going to help you with or aid you in the process of receiving insight, downloads, clarity, healing, making peace with your past, enough to help you to get into a grounded place in the here and now, so that you're able to start taking steps towards planning what's to come next, what you're being guided towards for your future. Okay? There could be a lot of changes that you're feeling guided to make at this point in your life right now, and these are some that are coming through from your ancestors. I'm hearing your ancestors, your spirit team, your higher self. Going back to the creativity within you, some of you might feel very drawn to a creative path, or even feeling guided towards a path of guiding others, leading others, spiritual work for some of you. And it's important that you know that if you're being guided towards paths such as this, that many of you have a lot of spiritual work to do. So if you're being called towards a spiritual path, especially with helping others, I feel like Spirit wants you to know that you are being supported in this work. There are going to be new people, new connections that are going to come into your life. It could be new friends that are exposing you and opening to you, and may even provide further inspiration. So it's important that you know, are open and receptive to what other people could be communicating to you, or even things that you could be sharing with others at this time. It could be people that inspire you, or it could even be that there's something about your energy that is inspiring others. Not all are meant to stay, is what Spirit's saying. Not all are meant to stay. So it could even be people that you briefly meet, and it could be something that they say to you, or even something that you might say to another person. I'm seeing a lock, okay, a golden lock. And the way that Spirit is kind of showing to me is this lock is almost like it's opening up, okay? So we can maybe look at that as something unlocked. Maybe it's a golden opportunity of something being unlocked for you at this time. I'm going to look, let's clarify a little bit here. Some of you have been procrastinating, okay? And Spirit is wanting you to focus on being more confident in yourself. This is a time for facing your fears, okay? Facing them head on and really channeling into your creative energy. Some of you have something to create here, very beautiful to share. Music, okay, for some of you is going to be very helpful, especially for those of you that feel very connected to music, art, writing, poetry, any types of creative forms of expression. This is going to be something that really helps you to really tap into your creativity, okay? It might even be just kind of sitting, you know, and journaling and writing and just kind of letting things flow. Lots of quiet time. Stillness, meditation. For some of you, this is also about you really learning to ground, okay? Learning to ground your energy. Helping you, again, to restore peace and calm. This may be a time for boundaries for some of you, okay? Especially if you have a lot of people around you, family members, friends, romantic partners that are demanding a lot of your time, your energy. There's a need for you to really stand firm with the need for alone time, quiet, peace, so that you're able to focus on yourself and what you're doing for you. Why is this Death card here? Eight of Cups. The High Priestess. Some of you are being guided away from something or someone. Situation. Yep. Moving on from something. Okay, you're being guided to intuitively. Again, this could be about strength, okay, that may even be required to stay away from something or move away from something. Some of you are being guided towards a path of self-discovery at this time. Spending more time getting to know the self, discovering what your purpose is, what your mission is, to get better connected in with your higher self so that you're able to receive the information that you need. Some of you might be feeling a little bit lost on your path, and this is where you're being guided inwards at this time, guiding inwards. The answers are not outside of you, they are within. Why is this Eight of Cups here? It's going to help you to focus. Connecting to the power within, connecting to the divine, finding balance, connection with the higher self. We've got Aquarius here. So some of you, this is big change, okay? Big change in your life. May require you to step outside of your comfort zone. This may also be where there is a lot of your inner strength that is required. Confidence, power. Some of you are opening up to new possibilities, new adventures, or even being given an opportunity to create a whole new life for yourself. This could be completely changing course, changing direction, opening up to new experiences. Some of you are being guided away from a person, okay? This is not for everyone, but some of you are being guided away from a person. And I feel like you may already know and have that feeling intuitively. Sagittarius. We've also got air sign energy here, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Some of you are being guided towards exploring, expansion, discovery. This is a time of important decisions. Okay, there is change. There is most certainly change here. Eight of Swords, Four of Cups at the bottom with the Page of Pentacles, and we have the Hermit again, Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. It's important that you are not sinking into a place of self-sabotaging thoughts, self-limiting beliefs. There could be certain opportunities that are presented to you. Of course, not all of them will be for you. It's important for you to listen to your intuition. And again, the better attuned and tapped in we are, the more confidence we are going to have when, you know, being called or drawn towards a certain path or towards a certain idea. Some of you are creating some type of a project. This could be planting seeds for something new, starting a new project. If you've been feeling especially bored, unmotivated, unfulfilled, dissatisfied with, you know, a certain area of your life, this certainly gives you an opportunity to change. It also, you know, could be asking you to really take some time to think about where you're at right now. Okay. Maybe even with a focus on different areas of your life and what you want to change. What is the change that you wish to see in your life? Because this now gives you an opportunity again to create new, knowing that you do have the power within yourself to make this happen, that you can not only realize the potential that you have within inside of yourself, but you can take steps towards making these goals or seeing the success, the abundance show up in your life by taking inspired action. To know that you have the power to change. Okay, you don't have to stay in a place or a situation, whether physically or even mentally, emotionally, that you're unhappy in. That it's important for you to be open to the change. Be open to new experiences. Anything else for group number 1? We have Magician and the Mirror. Caring connections. And we have the woman holding a heart. I'm also seeing the Healer of the Ages here at the bottom and the Temple Path. Okay, so again, many of you are being guided towards the path of your destiny. It's important for you to follow your heart. Okay, healing, like I said at the very beginning, is something that's very important for you. Restoration, working through, you know, the things that are coming out. Some of you, it might be inner child stuff. Okay. Again, paying close attention to the people that do come into your life. You want to make sure that you are looking for connections that support your growth, not bring you down. Okay? Something that is mutually supportive for you to help to maintain balance in your life. If there's anything that is coming in that doesn't feel okay, something that feels out of alignment, something that's bringing chaos, it's important for you to stay away from it. Okay? Or move away from it. Maybe if it's a work environment, start looking for another job. Okay? If it's a family situation, it may be so drastic as to remove yourself from the home environment or out of a relationship or even away from a friend, coworker, whatever that might be. Again, it's important for you to maintain balance. You know, temperance is also about moderation. So this might be finding or doing things that create a little bit more harmony and balance even in your own life. Okay? That could be your work schedule. It could be, you know, the amount of social time that you give to yourself to make sure that you are not just focused on work, but you also have time to de-stress, let loose a little bit. If you've been having a little bit too much fun and not so much work, this is going to be about you finding a little bit more balance in your schedule. It may even be about focusing on exercising, straightening out the way that you eat, okay? Taking your health a little bit more seriously, or prioritizing, again, your well-being, maybe coming up with some type of practices, maybe yoga, meditation, hiking, working out, exercising, something like that, that helps you to feel better, to feel more balanced. Maybe this is taking on new spiritual practices for some of you, or joining some type of community groups or something like that that you might have. Focusing on mind, body, wellness. Like I said, it can also be your diet, okay? Making some improvements to your health and overall well-being to make sure that you feel that sense of balance overall. Okay, different areas of your life is what Spirit is wanting you to focus on. Okay, all right, so that is all that I have for you, group number 1. I do hope this reading was helpful for you, and I will see you in the next one. Hello, group 2. So those of you that resonated with the clear quartz crystal, this is going to be your reading today. And so we are getting advice from your spirit team to you right now. So we're going to look at your oracle cards first, and we're going to pull your tarot and see what the advice is. So let's see. Group 2, number 68, we have Wombat Spirit with Be at Home. We have She-Wolf with Unleash the Wild Within. We have number 30, Mimicry. Number 26, The Key, and it says Inner Calling, Clarity, and Intention. And we have card number 21, First Breath with Beginner's Mind. Okay, let's pull your tarot. There's very much an emphasis here with connecting in with the feminine energy. Okay, regardless of gender, connecting in with the feminine. And I'm more or less seeing this be at home. Not so much that you need to stay home, okay, in your physical place that you live, but more or less the home within the self, present in your body, okay? Being at home with the self. What is the advice from group number 2's spirit team right now? For some of you, there is an inner calling that your spirit team or your intuition has been calling to you over and over again. And for some of you, it could be that feeling of being drawn towards a certain path or towards a certain idea is something that is growing in its intensity, almost to the point where you might feel like, okay, I can't ignore this anymore. Some of you, it could be your own fears that are kind of holding you back with this desire that you feel of wanting some kind of a change or being drawn towards something. And it may be that you've been putting it off, okay, putting it off, or, you know, saying to yourself, okay, maybe it's not the right time. Maybe I should wait a little bit, or I don't feel like I'm ready. I don't know where to start. We have the 7 of Swords, 5 of Wands, some of you could be kind of overcomplicating it, overthinking. There is a need for grounding here in this group. We have the 3 of Cups. What is your spirit team's advice to you right now? The Hermit, and there's Justice. We've got Virgo and Libra energy here. There's Where's the overthinking? Okay, so we've got the world energy here and the Nine of Swords. Okay. Yep, some of you have an important decision to make here, and there's a need for using logic as well as intuition with where you are being guided. Some of you have maybe just recently come to an end of a cycle. For some of you, this is a karmic cycle in your life. Or there could be a need for ending something here. And it could be an ending maybe for some of you that you have been avoiding. Some of you I'm seeing where there is a repeat. Okay, a repeat of a cycle. I'm going to clarify this Seven of Swords. We have the King of Swords here, the Star, and Chariot. Yep. Some of you, and there's the Queen of Swords at the bottom. Some of you are being guided towards your destiny here. Okay? Guided towards your destiny and towards a certain vision. I feel some of you already have the vision. Some of you already have these ideas, and sometimes the Seven of Swords can put us into a space mentally where we're a little scattered, okay, meaning that we might have many different ideas that are kind of running through our mind, and this can lead us to, you know, feeling not the most clear, especially when it comes to taking the initiative to having the clarity that we need to make the decision with which we feel guided towards. It may even be an inner conflict that you feel with deciding to just kind of choose something and go with it, okay? The Chariot is about building momentum, and it's about determination, willpower, control. I'm seeing the energy of the masculine here with the Chariot and the King of Swords, and the masculine aspect of the self is what helps us to get things done, okay? Like I was saying at the beginning here, this feels like there's a need for connecting in with the feminine, okay, and being at home within the self so that you're able to receive the clarity that you need from your own intuition, connecting with the feminine so that you are able to gain the clarity that you need with the direction that you're being guided towards. Once we have this information and we trust this within the self, we can then, in a way, kind of switch over, right, to the masculine energy and have the focus that we need, the organization with our mind, our thoughts, our ideas, the plan, and being strategic, because the Seven of Swords is also about strategy. And so once building that momentum, we're able to then move forward with a focus towards the goal, towards the dream, towards the desire, towards what we feel guided towards. There's a need for trusting and believing in yourself. Like I said, for some of you, it may be that there's a lot of inner conflict that's kind of going on at this time. And it may even be surrounding the change that you are needing to make at this time. Again, it could be a lot of important decisions that you're kind of trying to weigh out and say, okay, what would be the best thing to do here? And there might be a lot of anxiety surrounding that, because for some of you, it might be, you know, closing a pretty significant path for yourself and opening up to a new one. Some of you are being guided towards abundance. Okay, this is change with career path, work. There's a need for commitment here, hard work, effort, discipline, most certainly discipline. Committing yourself to what your goals and dreams are. Okay, some of you are being guided towards a path of securing your financials, your abundance. This could include taking some kind of a risk. Okay, some of you it's taking a risk. It could be a very wise investment that you're making, maybe for some of you into a business, or creating a business, working on wealth. Some of you, this Ten of Pentacles signifies your legacy. Okay. Financial security. So it's going to be important that you are not repeating certain cycles that you may have in the past. Okay. I want to get a little bit more on that mimicry. For some of you, this might be being indecisive. Not choosing what's in your heart, meaning that we might have a heart's desire that we really feel drawn towards, but then we end up doing the complete opposite and dealing with the consequences of that. Maybe choosing something that's not quite aligned for us and going against what our heart is telling us, where we're being guided. Okay, so this could be maybe a pattern that you might have of not really choosing or doing what you feel is best for you. It might even include making decisions out of fear versus confidence, believing in oneself, not acting, not being decisive, could be an issue here. Yeah. There's an imbalance here. Some of you, it's the whole part of, tuning in maybe to the feminine energy, but then not working with the masculine. Okay. Not working with the masculine. We have, again, the Emperor here with the Four of Cups, which could indicate that perhaps there's a cycle here of feeling unsatisfied, with a path or with, something that could be going on in our life, feeling unhappy, feeling unfulfilled, but then not taking action to change it. So there's a need for building up your confidence in yourself. It's about discipline, okay? Organization, focus, basically getting it done. No more excuses. No more putting things off. No more procrastinating. So it may be that we're not using, right, both of those energies, both the feminine and masculine, in order to bring form and structure, which is what the Emperor is about, form and structure, stability, building your empire. Some of you, it's building a business, or, taking your career to the next level, advancement. So it could be staying in an unsatisfied, unfulfilling type of situation and knowing that we're being guided towards a change, but then not following through. Okay? The Chariot requires both the feminine and the masculine energies in balance, in alignment, for both of them to work together so that we can basically, I think of the Chariot as like our spiritual vehicle. Okay? The masculine energy, the Emperor, as the charioteer, this is you getting things moving, building that momentum, which means what? We're taking the first step, right? We've got first breath here with beginner's mind. This is also number 21. The world is 21. So when we end something, there is an opportunity for a new beginning. And sometimes we overthink things, right? And there's a need for group 2 for you to bring yourself back to the beginner's mindset, which means what? It means that perhaps we are tapping into that part of ourselves that is curious, that is open to new perspectives, that is creative, that is fearless, confident, that is able to take that idea, that vision, and bring life to it. Sometimes if we've worked on, you know, certain things from our past and we've went about it a certain way, and then we're about to start something new, we might go right to it with repeating an old pattern, an old cycle, an old way of doing things. And it may require that this new path, direction, requires us to be kind of like a sponge where we can research, we can study, we can learn, we can, you know, ask questions, do research, connect with other people. And I'm seeing the Page of Wands here at the bottom. When I think of the beginner's mind, I think about the childlike mind. The childlike mind that is exploratory, that is passionate, that is brainstorming all of those ideas, all of those plans. And it might be very helpful for you, group two, to get out piece of paper and start writing down your ideas, your plans, even if it's just kind of like a little bit of a rough draft where you have like basic ideas. And then after we see that, we can start looking, okay, what do I need for this? You know, where you start brainstorming. And that requires us to connect in with our higher self, with our intuition, with, you know, connecting into our inner child. Okay. I'm seeing the Ace of Wands here at the bottom with the Eight of Swords. So many of you, this could be a lot of self-limiting beliefs. It could be that you have, you know, the amazing idea, and then your ego kind of chimes in to tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't do it, why you're going to fail, why you're going to be successful, that you're not prepared, that you don't know enough, that you're crazy, that this plan is never going to work, this idea is never going to happen for you, and all those ways in which we can limit the self. Okay? Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Some of you might also lack patience, dedicated effort. It could be that you're the type of person who might start something and then lack the discipline or the confidence, maybe even to continue on. It could be that you get frustrated very easily, or you don't, you know, you put in a little bit of time and effort and things are not happening as fast as you want them to. And so you just, you know, kind of fizzle out, give up, and say, oh, okay, that didn't work. You know, I knew I was going to fail, or I knew that wouldn't work, you know? So again, it may require a lot of focusing on tapping into the masculine energy. Okay. And even if, you know, working with your masculine energy hasn't been so great in the past, that doesn't mean that we can't retrain the brain and come up with new patterns, even where you start small with something. You know, let's just say we have a bigger goal of wanting to change career path and, you know, to do all these amazing things, but we're not so great with, you know, working with the masculine energy. We can start with something small. Maybe it's at home. Maybe you have wanted to reorganize your closet, reorganize the kitchen cabinets, right? Sometimes they can get a little crazy in there where things get all mixed up and disorganized. And you do something, you start with that. You make a list of the things that you want to do, let's just say in the home. Maybe it's the garage, you know, sometimes that can be out of control. Where you start working and setting a goal for yourself to commit yourself to what that goal is. You know, if it's a super, let's just say you're going to look at the garage and the garage is just a disorganized chaos. It's a mess. You start with something small and you say, okay, I'm going to commit myself to working 30 minutes today to sorting through things. You're going to commit yourself to an hour of getting that done, and feeling just with those little things that you're working on, that you start to build up your confidence and start to say, okay, you know what? I can commit myself, my time, my effort, my energy, my focus to getting this done. I may be, you know, kind of just like working at it slowly, but it's still going to be what you need to help you to get the larger goal done. And we can take that information and take that practice to something bigger so that it seems less overwhelming for us, right? you can work slowly towards something and be patient through the process of thinking of the grander picture of things, the larger goal that you have in mind. Not giving up too easily. I know sometimes it's hard, we can get super frustrated and, you know, give up, too quickly, too easily. And this is where patience is also required, because with the way that I feel like Spirit is guiding you, group number 2, especially with the Pentacles, abundance, this is the physical realm. This is the material world. And this is something that takes time. It takes focus. It takes dedication. And I feel like Spirit is kind of encouraging you to, inspiring, divine inspiration with that Ace of Wands. It could be a little creative idea, creative spark that you have, and Spirit's encouraging you to explore that. Okay? To explore that. Let's see, what else here? Queen of Swords. Knight of Cups. 5 of Pentacles. So some of you, it could be scarcity mindset, poverty consciousness, feelings of unworthiness to success, to abundance. Some of you might feel like you don't have the resources, or that you even, it could be thoughts of like, I'm not smart enough, I don't know enough. With what you feel guided towards. Okay, the Knight of Cups is a representation of the heart. It could be about your passions that you have, and it could be that you start to say, okay, oh, I don't have the money for that, or I'm not smart enough for that. I mean, some of you could have even dealt with like even the whole process of trying to find a job and being shut out by companies, by, or even keeping yourself in a situation where you're not being paid enough and too afraid to put in the effort to find a company, or, even the courage to start your own business where you can be in control of your abundance. Okay. So we want to take a look at any type of limiting mindsets with money, with your finances. Any feelings of unworthiness that you might have to abundance, to success. Sometimes, we might have and develop these limiting belief systems because of our upbringing, because parents, went through a lot of hardship, or, financial difficulties, debt, and things like that can kind of keep us thinking small, and that abundance isn't possible. Okay, so that can also be something to look at that as well. We have the Magician, which is, I feel like, something that Spirit is wanting to remind you of, is the power that you hold. The Magician is about focused intention, manifestation, and there's a need for you to visualize yourself as being successful, having a successful outcome. For some of you, it may be putting yourself out there more. It may be about showcasing your talents, your skills, this being in the spotlight. We do have Judgment here and the King of Wands. So for many of you, there's a call here towards leadership, towards forging a new path, towards confidence. Some of you are being called towards, a new beginning, a new opportunity here. Some of you, it is your soul's calling. Okay, the Judgment card can be a wake-up call. It can be an awakening. Some of you are meant to step out on a path of something new. For some of you, it is creative. And some of you, it might be using your voice, okay, in some way, sharing your voice, or it could even be writing. Many of you, I'm seeing creativity here. Okay, something creative that you're wanting to do. And it may require you with whatever this is, because I'm seeing a lot of energy here of leadership. Some of you, it may be about you, stepping or bringing or elevating your career to that of a position of leadership, power, authority. It can even be that you are taking charge or taking the lead in your life, reclaiming your power, okay? Stepping into your power and changing the course of your life. You regaining control, which is also the Cherry energy, control, but in a beautiful way, where you are in the driver's seat. You are leading your life towards the success that you want to see. Like, you are the key here. Okay? If that means working on our self-esteem, working on our confidence, learning how to be more assertive, learning how to make important decisions and to stand with confidence behind that, not backing down, not giving up. That even if there is a situation where we fail, that we don't just see that as a failure where it means that we just, okay, give up, throw in the towel forever. It means that that even in the failure that we can find success, because it's a lesson for us. We learn what works, what doesn't work. You know, I'm sure all of you have heard stories of people that have really made it in life, and they talk about how many times they have failed and how many more times they have gotten right back up, didn't give up, and tried again. Okay? And I feel like that is what Spirit is encouraging you to do, is to just see yourself as the leader, as confident, and to embody that energy of confidence and power. And for some of you, this is even regaining control of your life, taking your power back. Okay? All right, so I'm going to leave this here for you. Actually, no, I have one more. I'm going to actually add on some additional messages here for you, Group 2. Anything else that Group 2 needs to know at this time? We have the first chakra. I'm going to cover this up a little bit. The first chakra, which is the root chakra. Okay, which is about security and stability. We've got journey here. And then we have the angel of love. Okay, and I feel like, and more so, this is about a journey of the heart, your heart's desires. And, you know, this is a lot of root chakra energy, which is stability. It's grounding. Again, not making decisions out of fear, out of survival, but more so out of power. Okay? All right, so that is all that I have for you, Group number 2. I do hope this reading was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Hi, Group 3. So those of you that resonated with the Amethyst, this is going to be your reading today. So we are finding out from your spirit team what advice they have to you right now. So we're going to take a look at your oracle cards, and then we'll add in some tarot and see what is coming through. So your spirit team's advice to you right now, Group number 3, we have number 64, the Wasp Spirit, and it says, sometimes life stings. We have Lord here with take charge with authority. We have number 33, Knight. Number 5, Warrior, inner strength, clarity, and presence. And then we have number 53, Stranger, with curiosity. Okay. Okay, let's pull these tarot cards. The one thing that really stands out to me here is we have the Wasp here, you know, and wasps they can be quite aggressive, okay? But more so with the sometimes life stings. It makes me feel like maybe for some of you, you've been going through something, or maybe, you know, in the recent past, Or even, it might even feel like part of your life, certain experiences that you've had in your life that have not turned out the greatest, may have led to pain or disappointment, discouragement. And I'm noticing this lion here that has like a scar across its nose and across its eye with this very warrior like energy, you know. So it kind of makes me feel that, you know, some of you that are going to be resonating with this group have been through a lot, you know, and may even feel very guarded, very protective, okay, is what I'm getting. Very protective even with your energy. And get some tarot here. It's very powerful though. It kind of very much gives me like wounded warrior like energy. I'm kind of seeing it as the way that Spirit's showing me. It's kind of like walking through fire, you know. Maybe your path has been one that has been quite challenging, difficult, and from that though, I feel like your emergence from that is and some of you of course still might be in the process of going through that. All of you are going to be on different timelines, but for some of you I'm seeing like where you've come and like forged in fire is what I'm getting. Forged in fire. And it being something, if you choose to, right, from those experiences that you've had, to turn you into someone who is much more empowered, strong, confident, and maybe even in an energy that you can't or you won't tolerate any kind of crap, I guess. We'll just call it crap. It's just like kind of like being very much in your power and with what you will and will not allow into your space, into your life. And so for others of you, it might be, you know, in that process of going through the thick of it right now and needing to really tap into your inner strength to overcome even the most challenging, you know, of things that you could be processing and kind of going through. So let's see here for group number 3. What is your spirit's team's advice to you right now? Page of Pentacles. You know, some of you might feel this energy with something that you've tried to work towards and it not working out the way that you've wanted it to. Feeling frustrated, feeling like, you know, throwing in the towel, giving up. And I feel like Spirit's in that regard, Spirit's encouraging you not to. Okay? I'm getting resilience. Resilience. We have the 8 of Cups here. Judgment. For some of you, this is the strength and power to walk away from people, situations, environments that are not meeting your needs. Things that do not serve you. This might be a job. You know, you could be, you know, in a place where you honestly feel like you're settling for less, whether that's a relationship, a workplace, business. There's a lot here surrounding, okay. Some of you, there's a very clear message here about leaving a relationship, okay? Now, that is more so going to be for those of you that are in a relationship, and it might even be a business partnership. It might be the company that you work for, okay? Anything that you have committed your time and your energy to, and you feel like it is no longer aligned for you, okay? Some of you might be walking away from a job that you have invested a lot of time and energy into, and you're feeling more being called to a path of, for some of you, entrepreneurship. Okay, the Nine of Pentacles is about being self-made, financially independent. Okay. Now, that doesn't always mean entrepreneurship, but it could for some of you, especially if you're feeling called towards that. If you are someone who wants to create more wealth in your life, more abundance, it may be working on a side hustle, working on a project, creating another stream of income. The King of Pentacles is here, and the King of Pentacles is very resourceful. It's about taking risks. You can see how the King of Pentacles, how around his throne here is just so abundant, right? So abundant. And this requires discipline. It requires commitment, dedication. Those of you that may have like a job right now and kind of feeling, okay, I want to make more money. I want to feel more abundant. This could be about you starting a new project. It could be that you're opening a business, maybe on the side, you know, to kind of get both things going at the same time. It may be for some of you encouraging you to move away from a career path that you have been in for a little while and making the decision to start something completely new. Some of you, it may be moving away from a long-term relationship, especially for those of you where you might be holding on to that relationship only for financial reasons. Okay, maybe it's a relationship that is no longer emotionally fulfilling for you, and you feel like your needs are not being met. You might feel that you're not as committed as you once were, or you might feel like your partner is not as committed as they once were. Maybe they're detached. Maybe they've chosen not to invest the time and energy into your relationship any longer. And that may be where you are being encouraged to, you know, step onto a path with working towards your own financial security. Maybe that means taking and looking for a job, you know, for some of you, to work on your own financial abundance. And that could be finding the inner strength within inside of yourself to take control of your life, to, you know, starting something new. Okay. So I'm seeing this more so, like I said, for those of you that are in marriages or long-term relationships where maybe the only reason that you're staying is because of finances. Okay. Or because it is some form of security for you, maybe because you've been with the person for a long time, even though you might feel checked out, or you might feel like your partner's checked out and, you know, you're not invested any longer. This could be about your independence, your freedom. So I want to pull a little bit more here. All right, let's look at this Judgment card here. Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of messages surrounding career paths today with this reading today, I've noticed. You know, the Judgment card can be a soul's calling. It can be a wake-up call, an awakening. Now, for some of you, that could be awakening you to putting in more effort, being more disciplined, being more focused. It may be also highlighting to you to take a look at your current job, what you do for work, how you make money, and perhaps being open to some kind of change with that, especially if you're feeling a calling towards that. Queen of Swords, Ace of Swords, and also the Five of Cups. Yeah, so it looks like there has been some type of disappointment here, or even a feeling of discouragement, some kind of loss that you may have experienced. It might be financial loss. It may be that your finances aren't exactly where you want them to be. Okay. Tell me about this Page of Pentacles. The Emperor, you know, this can certainly be a time for really channeling into masculine energy here. Pursuing your heart's desire. I'm kind of feeling now that I'm seeing group number 3, it almost kind of feels like all 3 groups today, kind of like I'm seeing like this story kind of weave together with each of them, you know? So if you felt kind of like, you know, drawn to different groups or even felt like called to all of them, I kind of feel like all of them are kind of weaved together in some way, especially with a focus surrounding career, finances, destined career path, aligning with destiny. Okay. Tell me about the Lovers here. Yeah, some of you might be seeing something or someone in a different light. Okay, the Hangman is here, which can be about a change of perspective, disillusionment. For some of you, it could be that you've, you know, been at a place of stagnancy in your life and you're being called towards action, towards movement. It feels like with the Stranger here and the curiosity, like the curiosity, I'm seeing this more so as wanting more for yourself, a desire for something more, a desire for something bigger, grander, bolder, you know, and to not let past disappointments, past failures be something that set the tone for the rest of your life, even though there may have been some things that may not have worked out the way that you've wanted them to. Relationships, marriages, career paths that we've chosen, businesses that we tried to run and, you know, didn't work out. Whatever that might be, that's the source of discouragement. It could even be friendships, being let down by friends, being let down by partners, by family members, you know, to not let those things be something, like I said, that set the tone for the way that the rest of your life needs to be. That you can make change. That all hope is not lost. That you can focus and commit yourself to change, to growth, to expansion, to fulfillment. For some of you, this is developing a stronger sense of self, a stronger sense of identity, and discovering who and knowing within your very core of being who you are. Standing in your truth, walking in your truth. Okay? Some of you might be caught up a lot in a lot of insecurities and self-sabotaging thoughts and self-limiting beliefs. And this is where your spirit team is kind of encouraging you to be more self-aware of that and work towards identifying why we're thinking this way. Where is this coming from? Where is this rooted in? And to, like with the Lord here, take charge, right? With authority, with power. We have the Four of Swords here, and then the Empress is here. And the Four of Swords is about reflecting, meditation, stillness. Okay? You have both the Empress and the Emperor out here, and this is the masculine and the feminine. Getting the two of them to work together. Okay? The feminine energy is about creation. It is about nurturing, birthing something. And the Emperor energy, the masculine, brings form and structure to what the feminine energy creates. And we need both of them, right, to work together in order to have the type of expansion and growth and stability and security that we're looking for in life. And this is about you embodying those energies and knowing that you are worth the success, the love, the abundance, whatever it might be that your heart desires. Okay? That we don't have to base, the future off of what we've experienced in the past, that we can choose to write a new story. We can choose to live in a new reality. Okay? All right, so let's see if there's anything else for you. Group number 3. Anything else for group number 3? Yin and Yang. And we've got the Angel of Love. Indecision. Okay. So again, we've got the feminine and the masculine here. Balance. I'm seeing financial constraints at the bottom. So maybe for some of you, it could be, that you are dealing with some financial difficulties, or that some of you may even need to work on healing mindset. It could be poverty consciousness, scarcity mindset. It may even be a feeling of lack that you have when it comes to love. Sometimes we could, because I've certainly have been in this place in the past where I've held on to a relationship, a boyfriend actually, when I was very, very insecure and had very low self-esteem. And I knew at that point I think I was like in my 20s, that the relationship wasn't for me. And I was so afraid, because I did have an abandonment wound, I was so afraid of letting that relationship go because it meant that I was going to be alone. And I didn't believe that I would get better, that I could have more. And so for some of you, this might be about loving yourself, learning to love yourself enough to not accept anything less than what your heart's desire is. Okay, some of you might have an important decision to make here. Let's see if there's any advice around this indecision here. Yeah, so we've got the Two of Wands, which is basically being at a crossroads, planning something, making a choice, choosing a path, choosing a direction. The Wheel of Fortune is change. Okay, the Wheel of Fortune has a lot to do with our destiny and about, the universe kind of guiding you towards a change. The Wheel of Fortune is divine intervention, right? Change, understanding that change is inevitable, and more or less learning to go with the flow, understanding that there are certain cycles that we go through that are not so great, right? And then there are times and periods in our life where we can feel amazing. And it's really about us learning how to navigate through those cycles, that even when life stings, to understand that that wheel is ever spinning, right? The cycles of life, it is ever spinning. And just because we could currently be going through something that's not so great, to understand that it's temporary. Change is inevitable. Some of you are being guided towards a change here. Okay, aligning yourself. We have the Six of Pentacles here. This is receiving, putting yourself in a position to receive, to accept help from the universe. And sometimes it could be something that our intuition is guiding us towards, and we have doubt in our mind, fears and insecurities, the whole fear of the unknown. Okay, what happens if I choose this path? What will happen if I choose that one? And sometimes we need to just trust our intuition, right? And with each step that we take moving forward, that path, the light on that path just is illuminated, right? The path is illuminated for us, okay? There's need for trusting. All right, so I'm going to leave this here for you, group number 3. I do hope this reading was helpful for you all, and I will see you in the next one.